A fourth and even fifth stimulus check? Well, according to this letter, just 2 more payments would impact millions upon millions of people. Let me talk you through all of the details. But hey everybody, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me as always, and thank you so much for being part of this community. If you haven't done so already, please make sure to hit the subscribe button right down below the video so I can continue to be your daily advocate and keep you updated each and every day going forward. Thank you so much, everyone. Let's talk through this. So in that other video, I had Corey come through and read the executive summary in this report. Now, this is a long report that was recently released by the Economic Security Project. So we're actually breaking it down into a few different videos here because there's so much good information in here. In that last video, Corey read the executive summary. Now in this video, I'm going to have Corey come back in just a minute and read the next section that is specifically focused on stimulus checks. Yes, what everybody wants to talk about, what everybody wants to know about, and that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. So let's quickly run through this really briefly, and then I'll have Corey come in and read this to you. So what's really interesting about this is an amazing report. Seriously, the Economic Security Project recently released this. And in this report, they're talking about all of these stimulus checks that have been released so far since early 2020. The $1,200, the $600, and the $1,400 that was most recently released. Well, out of all this money, a little over $800 billion. Over $200 billion of that went to families of color. $480 billion of that money went to families that are in the lowest 60% of incomes in the United States. So yeah, can you see how impactful that is? I mean, seriously, this money is going to the people who really need it. Not only that, they talk about in this report that we're going to talk about here in just a second in this reading, they talk about these reports that come out every time after they issue these stimulus checks. They run these different reports because they want to know, hey, where's this money going? What is happening with the money? What are they doing with it? Well, time after time, after the stimulus checks are distributed, we see with all these reports, the money is being spent on the necessities, the basics of life. We've talked about this so many other times in other videos. It's spent on food, groceries, utilities, rent payments, things like this, the necessities. And we talk about that in this report. So it's really good. So with that being said, I'm going to have Corey come in and read it to you, and then I will catch you on the other side of it, and we'll talk through it a little bit further. But yeah, this is another really good one, specifically talking about stimulus checks. So with that being said, take it away, Corey, and I'll see you guys in just a second.
The power and impact of checks as COVID relief. After the passage of the CARES Act in March 2020, the federal government sent relief payments of $1,200 per adult and $500 per child to 160 million American households. In the year since, Congress has authorized 2 more rounds of direct checks of $600 and $1,400, totaling close to $850 billion in direct payments into people's bank accounts. $850 billion in direct cash to American households over the past year, through 3 rounds of checks, $1,200, $600, and $1,400, a 20% income boost for the lowest income households, more than $5,500 per household on average, $250 billion to people of color, and $480 billion to households in the bottom 60% of income. 1. A smart and effective investment. A year of research on the stimulus check shows that cash is one of the best policy interventions available in a crisis. Cash gets the most help to the most people who need it, stimulating the economy and shortening the recession. Direct payments boost consumer spending. Stimulus checks induce spending at all income levels, most sharply among low-income people, increasing aggregate demand and stimulating local economies. They increase small business revenue, especially in rural communities. They increase state and local revenue. Cash payments increase Americans' incomes, boosting their spending and their tax revenue that consumer activity generates. That buoys state revenues and gives state budget writers facing shortfalls some reason for optimism. 2. A powerful poverty reducer. Cash has been the leading poverty fighter throughout the recession. The primary reason poverty fell at the start of the recession. Data indicates that a round of $1,200 stimulus checks lasted most families 2 to 3 months. As aid ran out in the summer and Americans were left hanging into the fall, up to 8 million people were forced back into poverty. The driving force behind the American Rescue Plan, which is projected to cut child poverty in half this year, due mostly to investments in direct cash payments and the new income floor for families with kids. Of the 16 million people the relief package will keep from poverty, the $1,400 checks will alone keep 11 million people out of poverty this year, compared to less than $4 million for the unemployment insurance expansion in the bill. A tool that eliminates poverty altogether. A fourth and fifth check could keep an additional 12 million people out of poverty. Combined with the effects of the American Rescue Plan, direct payments could reduce the number in poverty in 2021 from 44 million to 16 million. 3. A winning political motivator. Direct cash payments have received bipartisan support as lawmakers have negotiated COVID relief over the past year. Cash has been championed by both the former Republican president and President Biden, as well as members of Congress from both sides of the aisle. In the pivotal Georgia Senate election, direct checks were a deciding factor for many voters in the last days of the campaign and were a contributing factor to delivering the Senate majority for Democrats. This was the year that cash broke through a smart policy and winning politics.
So there you can see it. They built a pretty solid case for a fourth and fifth stimulus check in this report from the Economic Security Project. In fact, if you caught it right there in the report, I think this is a pretty powerful line. They said that in 2021, there would be 44 million people living in poverty. However, if they issued 2 more stimulus checks, so a fourth and a fifth stimulus check, we could take that number all the way from 44 million all the way down to 16 million people, which, I mean, that's amazing, isn't it? I mean, that's a huge, huge number. So, I mean, that's a reduction of 28 million people coming out of poverty in 2021 as a result of just a couple more stimulus checks. But it also makes me wonder, if we come all the way down to 16 million, it kind of makes me wonder, just in theory, I'm just thinking, what happened if they offered even a 6th stimulus check, or they offered monthly recurring stimulus checks for, I don't know, 3 months, 6 months, something like that through the rest of the year? Would we reduce the poverty rate all the way to 0? You know what I mean? Like, would we take those additional 16,000 people, 16 million people, and lift them out of poverty as well if we offered like a fourth, a fifth, and a sixth, or maybe even like a fourth and then recurring after that? You would have to think so, right? I mean, who wouldn't really think like, wow, that's amazing right there. You know what I mean? So yeah, pretty powerful stuff. I mean, that's a pretty really nice segment right here in this report that we just talked about. Not only that, in this section, they talked about these stimulus checks and how they stimulate small businesses and local areas, like local cities and businesses in that area. Well, yeah, of course, right? I mean, if I live in a specific area and I get 3 stimulus checks over the course of 12 months and possibly even more to come, of course, I'm probably going to spend the majority of that money right there in my local area, right? I'm going to go out to my local grocery store. I'm going to go to my local restaurants. I'm going to go to my local gas stations, things like this. I'm not going to drive across the state to fill up the car with gas, right? You know what I mean? So yeah, of course, it's going to impact local cities and things like that. So yeah, people in the cities, you know, governors, mayors, they love it, right? They're getting all of this extra stimulus and impact from all of this money because the federal government is sending it out to the people, and then the people are spending it at local businesses. Yeah, so it's stimulating not only the people, but it's stimulating the businesses and ultimately the cities, counties, and the states as well through tax revenues. So, get what I'm saying? So, at the same time, they're offering money to the people in the form of stimulus checks, but at the same time, they're really stimulating the states on the same level because all that money eventually is just basically flowing back to the state. Not all of it, but, you know, a large percentage of that money is going to flow back to the state through tax revenues and things like that, right? So, yeah. This is a great report. But either way, that's just another section out of this page, out of this report here. It's a long report. There's some really good stuff in here. So with that being said, we actually have another section that we will bring to you in another video. Really good stuff. But anyway, we just want to help you out with this because this is actually a long report. There's 8 pages of this right here. So we're breaking it down into these shorter videos and kind of breaking it down section by section. Because remember, our ultimate purpose here on the channel is to do whatever we can to keep you updated and to help you out with everything going on right now. But yeah, the Economic Security Project, man, they certainly have our back right now in regards to a 4th and even 5th stimulus check, possibly even monthly recurring payments. It's good stuff right now, but yeah, this is pretty exciting. Either way, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you found value out of this. Like I said, we just want to help you bring all this information to you and help you out through this time. So with that being said, if you haven't done so already, please make sure to hit the subscribe button right down below the video so I can continue to be your one and only daily advocate right here on YouTube. And please make sure to go back and check out some of my other videos as I have close to 1,200 videos right here. Thanks again, everybody. And always remember, you're welcome to share any of my videos with your friends, family, and social media as well. Thanks again. You're awesome. And I will see you in the next video. I'll catch you later. See ya.